Welcome everybody, it's good to be back for another season of the High School Sports Zone. We're excited to bring you season 2 of our football edition. Joining me as always is Mr. Calvin Lewis. And Calvin, it's hard to believe that football season is already upon us. It seems like the summer just kind of flew by.
Yeah, it was nice to, be on vacation for a few weeks, but always good to have football season back.
For sure. Well, let's start the night off with our 3 and Out.
Well, Jake, starting off on the first down, quite a number of standout performances from teams. What was the top surprise for you from week 1?
Well, my biggest surprise was the Superior Central Cougars in the 8-man league. They took down the defending state champions, the Forest Park Trojans, and they did it in really convincing fashion. They did it with the defensive side of the ball. The first 2 drives, Forest Park drove down the field. The Cougars, had a good defensive stand twice, and then they went back on the offensive side of the ball and they scored the ball. They did it in a balanced attack. They did it through the air, and they did it on the ground. So I would have to say anytime you can knock off a defending state champion week 1, I have to say that is a pretty big statement to start the season off. So I'm going to have to go with Superior Central.
What team had the best performance in week 1?
There were a lot of good teams with some very good performances, a lot of blowouts in this first week, but I think I'm going to have to go with the Ishpeming Hematites under Jeff Olson. They look to be back in form after a very disappointing in terms of what you expect from an Ishpeming Hematites team. In 2017, this team was riddled with injuries. A lot of guys went out, but they're getting a lot of those guys back, especially when you talk about the skill positions. So they went down to Manistee, blew the Emeralds out 52-0. Now, I know Manistee is a program, they haven't won a lot of games in the past several years, but the Hematites did go down there and they did what they had to do. 52-0, that's pretty impressive. What strikes me about this team this year is you know what you're going to get in Ishpeming. You're going to get tough kids, and you're going to get a running attack, and then they're going to roll out that running attack and get it in the air. But over the past several years, they've been doing that with a smaller team when you talk physical-wise. I think this year they have, in the trenches, they're a lot bigger. They got a couple guys coming over from Gwynn, so on the defensive and offensive side of the ball, just a lot bigger.
We move now to our 3rd down, our probably favorite category, the dark horse candidates. Who you got?
So I know it's still early in the season, so this could change, but I was up in Lance to see the first half of the Lance Hancock game, and I was really impressed by the Purple Hornets, especially in that first half. Now I know Hancock, they came back and won it in that second half, outscoring the Purple Hornets 21-7, but Lance did go in at half up 21-7. Just a lot of quality players on that team. Like I said, I think this team's still young. They don't really know how to win, but once they figure out how to do those little things that win you games, I think that's going to happen later on in the season. I think this team is going to be a really tough out when you talk about if they get to the playoffs or just be more successful towards the end of the season. Later in the show, we're going to reveal our first rankings of the season, but first, we're going to head to Crystal Falls to check in on the defending state champion, the Forest Park Trojans. That's coming up. Stay tuned. Welcome back into the Sports Zone, everyone. Remember, if you want to reach out to us, you can do it on our social media feeds, Local 3 Sports Zone on Facebook and at Local 3 Sports ZN on Twitter. We post all of our segments on our pages after the show. The Forest Park Trojans were the only team from the UP to win a state title last season. They began their quest to defend their title this season with a loss to Superior Central. But if you know Coach Dave Graff and company, the resilient Trojans will bounce back stronger than ever.
Trojan football is very simple.
We like to pound the rock.
Just pound the football. You know, we're just trying to carry on the tradition. We run the ball and we try to make a statement every time we get on the field.
Forest Park ran away with a state title after defeating Portland St. Patrick in true Trojan fashion, not throwing the ball a single time in a blowout victory.
We had some horses last year up front and guys that could really make things happen on the line of scrimmage. They were smart, they would talk, they knew their assignments, and when you're moving the ball 6, 7, 8 yards at a crack, it's very difficult to put it in the air.
Yeah, when we first won it, it was like a dream that you dream of when you're a kid. It's not realistic until probably a month after, and then you finally figure that you're the state champion team.
The Trojan run game will have a whole new look this season. They've spent their summer looking to find the next great Trojan back who will run behind a new look offensive line.
You lose a couple of offensive linemen, you got to find those replacements. And of course in the backfield we had 2 horses. You know, we had a little quick, speedy back in Bordolini, and we had a nice power runner that also had speed in Peter Ropiak. You know, we're trying to find that niche here in the first couple of weeks of practice, trying to find that running game. We have to develop youth, we know that, and unfortunately you can't develop all assets of your game. When you're dealing with freshmen and sophomores, you can only develop a portion of it, and so we just take it week by week and try to develop as best we can.
This year's team is eager to defend their title, all while leaving a mark of their own with a program with rich football tradition.
Being a kid and just always hearing about how the Forest Park Trojans, they're tough, they're good. Every kid's dreams about being on this field and having the community behind their back, all the support we get every year. And without it, then Forest Park wouldn't be what Forest Park is.
The kids, once they have success, they start feeling it and they start understanding what it's all about. And you know, the little things, the black and white socks and the facial, the beards, and you know, they love everything about the football tradition, and they try to keep it going and keep people enthused and keep people happy and keep them rooting on a Friday night.
Prayers tonight, fellas. Be ready to go tomorrow. Team on 3.
1, 2, 3, team!
When we return, we're going to revisit our unofficial first game of the week in Houghton, and later we'll get into our Player of the Year watch, find out who had the biggest games of last week coming up. Welcome back into the Sports Zone. If you want to reach out to us, you can do it on our social media feeds, Local 3 Sports Zone on Facebook and at Local 3 Sports ZN on Twitter. Well, the Friday night lights shined once again last week. The Westwood Patriots and Houghton Gremlins got a unique opportunity to play on a collegiate field. They played their opener on a newly renovated Sherman Field in Houghton, home of the Michigan Tech Huskies. We thought it was a perfect setting to have our first, unofficial game of the week. Let's head to Sherman Field in Houghton, where Westwood would establish their run game early against the Gremlins. With just over 6 minutes to go in the first quarter, there's no score. This is Taylor Delangelo. He's going to break one for 6. That'll put the Pats up 7-0. Delangelo had himself a very good game Friday night. Later, it's Westwood's Ashton Bergman, and I would not want to tackle this kid. He rumbles his way for the score, and that's going to put the Pats up 22-0. With just over 3 minutes remaining in the first half, Westwood again going to find the end zone here. This time it's Nathan Beckman who scores on the QB option. Westwood would go up 28-0. It would again stop the Gremlin attack in the second half. Our first game of the week dominated by the Westwood Patriots. They win 42-0.
I knew that we had somewhat of a veteran team, but we were still a little bit rusty the first, couple series. But Houghton did some things. They were in their 53, and they were slanting some guys and blitzing some backers. But I thought our kids did a really good job adjusting on the fly.
We played good. We were behind our blocks. Our blockers, linemen, did a great job tonight. Got out to linebackers, made their blocks, made the holes, and we got the easy job. We just ran through them.
With the win, the Westwood Patriots surely will find their way onto our first 11-man football rankings of the season. Here are our first ranks after week 1. Taking the top honors this week, we have the Ishpeming Hematites. The Hematites had themselves an impressive game against Manistee. In that one, they put up 52 points against the Emeralds. At number 2, Iron Mountain. The Mountaineers were able to travel to Negaunee and come out on top with a 12-9 victory over the Miners. It was the first Westpac meetings between the two since joining the conference last November. The Mountaineers' big plays were just too much for the Miners, which helped them overcome a 9-point deficit at halftime. Third place belongs to the Westwood Patriots. They put up an impressive 42 points against the Houghton Gremlins, all the while getting the shutout. Senior quarterback Nathan Beckman was able to help lead the Pats offense through some big plays, along with senior running back Ashton Bergman, who torched the Gremlins. Junior Taylor Delangelo also had a standout performance on both sides of the ball, nabbing the only interception of the night. And in fourth, we have the Norway Knights. The Knights took to the road this week and traveled to Lakeland and Hubble, where they beat the Lakes 54-30. And rounding out the top 5 is Gladstone. The Braves are the only team in the GNC to capture a week 1 win as they beat St. Ignace 26-14.
Over to 8-man football, we have Superior Central at the top of week 1. The Cougars hosted the defending state champions Forest Park Trojans and beat them 46-24. Next, we have Pickford, the Panthers. They put up a cool 62 points and didn't allow a single point against Messick. Sitting in third, we have Engadine. The Eagles traveled to North Central and beat the Jets 64-34. They'll have a test tomorrow night when they travel to Pickford. Over in fourth place, the Rapid River Rockets. They came out on top in a 38-0 win over Ontonagon. Sitting at fifth is Stevenson. The Eagles traveled to Cedarville and were able to come out on top in a close one, beating the Trojans 46-40.
Coming up on this Sports Zone, we're going to reveal our top 3 plays from week 1 of the season, and we're going to take a look at our latest Player of the Year watch. Stay tuned. Welcome back into the Sports Zone. If you want to reach out to us, you can do it on our social media feeds, Local 3 Sports Zone on Facebook and at Local 3 Sports ZN on Twitter. Now, Calvin, there's no shortage of talent here in the UP, and we want to shine some light on some of the amazing athletes once again here on the Sports Zone. Each week, we're going to highlight some of the top individual performances. Here's our Player of the Year watch list. Now remember, this will change weekly, and at the end of the season, we will compile a final list and have a round of voting to determine our Player of the Year. We're going to begin with Taylor Delangelo of Westwood. He was all over the field making plays for the Patriots on the road against Houghton. He rushed for 184 yards and a touchdown. He also returned a kickoff for a touchdown and intercepted a pass on defense. Superior Central's Bo Rondo completed 6 of 14 passes for 220 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he rushed 11 times for 120 yards and 2 more scores as the Cougars defeated the defending state champs, the Forest Park Trojans, to open their season.
Gwyn Seth Aho carried the Model Towners to a win over Bark River Harris on Friday. Aho rushed for 235 yards and 4 touchdowns to lead the Model Towners. Engadine's Andrew Blanchard had an outstanding performance with 6 rushing touchdowns and 1 passing score to down the North Central Jets.
Now, something new we've added to the show this season. It's called the Show Your Spirit Challenge. It's a great way to get fans involved, and we hope you, the viewers, have some fun with it.
Attention cheerleaders, marching bands, students, and high school football fans.
It's time to show the UP
your team spirit!
For the Local 3 Sports Zone Show Your Spirit Challenge.
Take a video of your squad doing a cheer, a song, some kind of routine, anything that shows your spirit, and send it to us via Facebook or Twitter.
Just somehow incorporate the Local 3 Sports Zone.
It could be in the cheer, banner, sign, song, yada yada.
We'll play the videos each week at the start of the Sports Zone on Wednesday nights and post them to our website and social media accounts.
So shake your pom-poms,
blow your horns,
scream your lungs out,
and show the UP who's got spirit! Up next on the Sports Zone, we're going to reveal our next game of the week. Find out where we're going to be headed this Friday night. Stay tuned.
It's an age-old saying, big-time players make big-time plays, and Week 1 was nothing short of some standout performances. We picked out our top 3 plays. This is the top 3 on 3.
Number 3.
Let's begin with number 3, Lance's Reese Wara. This kid is a baller. Outstanding on both sides of the ball. Here he is making a great defensive play with the interception. He would then lead the Purple Hornets down the field and score. Watch out for this Lance team. They have the potential to be great this year.
Number 2.
Coming in at number 2, it's Westwood's Taylor Delangelo. Check this out. One word for this kid, it's playmaker. Look at him just torching this Houghton secondary during the kickoff return for the touchdown. Can you say zoom?
Number 1.
And coming in at number 1, Iron Mountain's Marcus Johnson. He's going to be surveying the Negaunee Miners defense here before snapping the ball. And we're going to go right here. Johnson, he's going to scramble out to his right, not see anything, stop on a dime. He looks downfield, pitches it. He's going to find the wide open target in Charlie Gerhardt. He's going to do the rest. He says, see you later to the Negaunee Miners. And he puts up 6 for the Iron Mountain Mountaineers. And that'll be our number 1 spot. Congratulations to Marcus Johnson and Charlie Gerhardt.
Each week, we're going to end the show revealing what game we're going to be headed to for our game of the week. So without further ado, our next game of the week is...
Marcus Johnson and the Iron Mountain Mountaineers look to make it 2 straight road wins to open their season. Standing in the way, Nathan Beckman, Taylor Delangelo, and the Westwood Patriots. Iron Mountain, Westwood. It's Local 3's Game of the Week.
That's right, Calvin. We are going to be headed to West Ishpeming for the 1-0 Patriots against the 1-0 Iron Mountain Mountaineers. Any quick prediction on this one?
I'm going to have to play the advantage to the home field. I'm going to say it's going to be Westwood in this one.
I'm going to have to agree with you. I think the experience of Westwood and the home field advantage in front of that home crowd is going to be the difference maker in this one, so I got Westwood as well. Well, that's all the time we have for you tonight. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you again next week. Take it easy.